Have you ever felt like you're just playing a part you never actually auditioned for? Well, today we're diving into a really powerful, maybe even radical, idea from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. It's all about becoming the director of your own life story. This is Law 25, Recreate Yourself.
So let's start with a question for you. Think about it for a second. The person you present to the world every day, is that a character you've consciously created, or is it one that was kind of just handed to you by your job, your family, or your past? Are you really in the driver's seat of your own story? Now, this concept, of course, comes from Robert Greene's hugely influential book, The 48 Laws of Power. It's a book that looks at power as a tool. It's not inherently good or evil, it just is. And Law 25, the one we're unpacking today, might just be the most personal, most transformative tool in the entire box. So for anyone out there who feels kind of stuck, trapped in an identity that just doesn't fit, Greene offers up this pretty radical solution. He calls it Law 25. And this isn't about making small changes, a little tweak here and there. This is a full-on call to action. Greene's big idea is that the world is basically a stage. Most of us just passively accept the part we're given. But the powerful, he argues, they write their own scripts. They become their own playwrights. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it actually look like in the real world? Well, Greene gives us the perfect historical example to see this law in action, the incredible story of George Sand.
Let's set the scene. We're in Paris. The year is 1831, and I want you to meet a woman named Aurore Dupin-Dudevant. Now, at this point, she's not the famous figure we know today, not even close. She's just a young woman who is completely trapped by the rules and expectations of her time. And her life was, for all intents and purposes, a cage. Her marriage was a nightmare, and as a woman back then, she had basically zero path to making her own money or having any creative freedom. Her dreams? They were just dismissed. An editor actually told her, and I quote, "You should make babies, madame, not literature." Just think about that for a second. Society handed her a script, and she just flat out refused to read the lines.
And this is the pivot. This is the crucial turning point. Aurore realized that just trying to change her circumstances wasn't enough. To get truly free, she had to completely tear down and then rebuild her entire public identity. She had to literally recreate herself from scratch.
And the transformation was total. She left her husband, she moved to Paris, and she got rid of the name Aurore Dudevant. In her place, George Sand was born. But it was so much more than a new name. She started wearing men's clothes, smoking cigars in public. Every single move was calculated to be dramatic, to be unforgettable. She didn't just write a new story, she became the story. And guess what? It worked. George Sand became one of the most famous and infamous writers in all of Europe.
You see, this wasn't some random rebellion. Oh no, it was a masterclass in creating a persona. So let's break it down. Let's look at the strategy, the real art behind how she mastered her own image.
Her strategy was brilliant. First, she forged a completely new identity. She didn't just edit her old one, she threw it out. Second, she used dramatic devices, the clothes, the cigars, to make herself impossible to ignore. That, of course, commanded attention, putting her right at the center of the cultural stage. And finally, by doing all of this, she took control of her own story. No one was telling George Sand what to do. They were too busy reacting to whatever she did next.
Now, what's fascinating is that for most of the laws in his book, Greene offers a reversal, a time when you should do the complete opposite. But for Law 25, he makes a very, very bold claim. And here it is. This is the most important takeaway. According to Greene, this is the one law you can never escape because we are always performing. Think about it. Even choosing to be natural or authentic is itself a performance. It's a role you've decided to play. The only real choice you have is whether you're a good actor or a bad one. Are you consciously shaping who you are in public, or are you just letting everyone else decide for you? Because either way, you are always on stage. And that leaves us with one last big question. If the world really is a stage, and if your identity is something you can actually build yourself, then you have to ask, what part are you going to choose to play?